Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. Today I am talking about how I use both analog and digital tools to plan my days and be productive. And we are going to start off with my analog tool, which is the bullet journal. This is the second version of the bullet journal book, a great book, easy to write in. I've been loving it, and I use my Fisher Space pen as my go-to pen. I've bought myself a new pen, but I love this one, and I'm using it every single day to write inside of my bullet journal. So what do I keep inside of this bullet journal? Well, I do some long form journaling inside of here, as you can see, and I have my daily log with all of my tasks. So I mainly do task management, everything except events inside of my bullet journal. So events go into my calendar or into Twos. Most likely it goes into both of them. So that goes for events and tasks that are planned for the future, like in a month or two. If I have any tasks coming up in a month or two, I put them inside of Twos or inside of my calendar. So how am I actually using this to take notes? Well, it all depends on what I am consuming. So for example, if I was reading this book, what they didn't teach you in fashion school or design school, or if I was reading this book, which is what they didn't teach you at Harvard Business School, I would probably take notes inside of Twos. And that is simply because these books have a lot of facts inside of them that I want to refer to later when I am writing a blog post or doing a project. I want to refer to facts, and every time there is a book that is heavy on facts and statistics, I will put it inside of Twos. When I have to do things where I have to sort of reflect upon the book I'm reading, or the same goes for YouTube videos and podcasts as well, like Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I had to do a lot of reflections when I was reading that book. It goes into my bullet journal. So every time I have to think, I have to reflect, I put it inside of my bullet journal as a custom collection. And the simplest reason for why I do that is because I reflect a lot better with pen and paper, and just distill things a lot easier when I'm writing with pen and paper. And when I read books like Think Like a Monk, I probably have to spend most of my time distilling the information and just reflecting upon the things I'm learning. While when I'm reading a more fact-heavy book, I will probably just need to write down the facts so I can use them later. So it all depends on what type of content I am consuming. So that's how I use the bullet journal. Now let's jump into my digital system. Now we are inside of Twos, and I'm going to show you how I use this. So this task, for example, was scheduled weeks ago, and I just put it inside of Twos. So every morning when I wake up, I grab my bullet journal and a cup of coffee. I sit down at the computer and I go through my daily page to see if there is any tasks that I need to migrate into my bullet journal. I also put reoccurring tasks inside of here. So my weekly review, for example. And that's simply because reoccurring tasks are a lot easier to do when I am on my computer. It is a lot easier to do it digitally than to write it down every single week that you have to do a weekly review. I also do my weekly review inside of my Twos app, just because I've always done it, so I keep doing it, but not the reflection part, only the stats part. So what I do, I can show you here. In my weekly reviews, I put my YouTube stats, and the reasoning behind that is that I tend to think that I am not growing fast enough, or that I haven't moved forward, or I haven't posted enough videos, and just stupid things. And none of that is true. So I tend to just write down my follower count, write down my watch time to see that I am growing every time I have a bad day, every time I feel like I'm not accomplishing anything, or I feel demotivated because I feel like I can't see any growth. I like to go inside of here and just see my stats and see that I have actually grown quite a bit since 16th of July, for example, to last Sunday. It is just an easy way for me to keep believing in myself, and I'm really thankful for everyone watching the videos and everyone commenting. It really means a lot to me. I organize twos with Para because that's the best way, I believe, to organize your digital tools. I do the same for my OneDrive, and I like it to be the same across all of my digital tools. So what do I actually put inside of Twos? So everything that is a stats, this has a lot of stats inside of it. There are some thoughts as well, but mostly stats. Another one is this employer branding. I read something about employer branding that I'm going to use in my new job, so I just put it inside of my resources. As you can see, there are percentages here, and here as well as here. So most of these things are facts. The same goes for how to grow a LinkedIn page. I also put a lot of tweets inside of here because I want to quote tweets for a YouTube video or a blog post. I will put tweets inside of here instead of putting it inside of my bullet journal. Again, the reasoning behind that is that it is a lot easier to just copy and paste something into my script rather than actually having to write things. I have another rule, and that is that digital lives in digital. So when I'm quoting an article, I like to just copy and paste it inside of Twos instead of trying to write it down inside of my bullet journal, then putting it back into a note-taking app later when I am writing the script. It's just too much work. So again, stats, we have stats here. Everything that is a stat goes into Twos. That's mainly how I do note-taking. And it isn't a perfect system. This system might change a bit in a couple of weeks, and that is simply because I am starting a new job and my life will change a bit. I've been freelancing for a couple of years and having my clothing brand. I will still have my clothing brand, but I am going to get a quote-unquote real job. So things might have to change a little bit, but that's mainly how I use Twos. And every time a note, a fact, anything is actionable, every time I'm actually going to use it in a video, I put it inside of Heptabase, because Heptabase has mind mapping features as well as backlinking, which makes it a lot easier to write a script inside of, or by using Heptabase rather than using Twos. But Twos is my go-to place to put things, then I will move them later if I ever need to. And a lot of these things are like the book So Good They Can't Ignore You or Think Like a Monk, are old notes that I took a while back, but I haven't deleted them because I have no problems with having notes at two places. So both in my bullet journal as well as inside of Twos. But I do all of my reflection inside of a bullet journal. That's simply how I use the Twos app and my bullet journal, and have a hybrid way of planning my life and a hybrid productivity system. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below. If anything was unclear, please write it down. I'm happy to get all the comments I can. Thank you for watching, and I hope you liked the video.